Dear student, welcome back to the Basic Electronics Engineering course. Before going to study semiconductor devices, we should have a basic knowledge of atomic structure, energy level and energy band. So in this video, we are going to study the structure of the atom, structure of the silicon and germanium atom, as these are the most popular semiconductor materials. What is ionization process, concept of energy level, positive ions and negative ions, and energy bands. The atoms are the main building block of the matter. All the materials are made up of very small particles that are called as atoms. Any substance, solid, liquid, gases is made up of molecules, and these molecules are made up of atoms. The atom consists of three subatomic particles, that are electron, it is shown by blue color. Next is proton, which is shown by red color here, and neutron, which is shown by yellow color. The protons and neutrons are stick together to form the nucleus in the center of the atom. These protons and neutrons are stick together because of the strong nuclear force present between them. As shown in this figure, the nucleus, which is surrounded by orbiting electrons, we can compare the structure of the atom to our solar system, in which the sun is at the center and the planet revolves around it in the fixed orbit. The nucleus of an atom consists of two particles, that is protons and neutrons. For the given atom, the number of protons in the nucleus is equal to the number of orbiting electrons. The atoms are electrically neutral. As the proton and orbital electrons are equal in number, their equal and opposite charge will neutralize each other electrically. Therefore, we can say the atoms are normally electrically neutral. It has been discovered that the electron can occupy a certain orbital rings or the shell which are at the fixed distance from the nucleus. Each shell can contain only a particular number of electrons. In general, a shell can contain at most 2 into n square number of electrons, where n is the shell number. For example, the first shell can contain, this is the first shell, 2 into 1 square is equal to 2 electrons. It is shown here 2 electrons. If you consider the second shell, then the number of electrons will be 2 into 2 raised to 2 equal to 8 electrons. So on. The exception of this rule is that outermost shell cannot contain more than 8 electrons. Now see the next one more definition, that is valence shell and valence electron. The outermost shell is known as a valence shell. For any atom, whatever the outermost shell is there, that we can call as a valence shell. And the electron in it is called as a valence electron. The valence electron determines the electrical characteristics of each particular atom. The valence shell may be completely filled or partially filled of valence electrons. Now let us study the structure of the silicon and germanium atom. The most widely semiconductor materials used are silicon and germanium. Therefore, it is important to know the atomic structure of this material. This atomic structure is shown here. This is the first diagram, which is nothing but structure of the silicon atom. The second diagram is nothing but structure of the germanium atom. Now see the silicon structure in detail. The silicon atom consists of 14 protons. So there are 14 protons and 14 neutrons inside the nucleus and 14 electrons revolving around the nucleus. These 14 electrons are distributed among the different shells. The first shell contains these 2 electrons and the second shell contains these 8 electrons, while the third shell, called as a valence shell, contains 4 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 electrons. Now let us see the germanium structure. In the germanium atom, it consists of 32 protons and 32 neutrons in the nucleus. This is the nucleus. So the 32 electrons are distributed in such a way that the first shell contains 2 electrons, second shell consists of 8 electrons, third shell consists of 18 electrons, and the fourth shell, which is nothing but valence shell, in that is the outermost shell, in which again there are the 4 electrons. Now let us define what is ionization. The process of losing or gaining an electron which convert electrically neutral atom to a charged atom is called as ionization. In the electrically neutral atom, the total number of protons in the nucleus is equal to total number of electrons orbiting the nucleus. Now see how the positive ion created. So in this figure, the total number of electrons orbiting the nucleus of the atom is 6 and the total number of protons in the nucleus are 7. So positively charged particles, that is protons, are more than the negatively charged particles. Therefore the total electric charge of that atom is positive. Now see how the positive ion is created. In an electrically neutral atom, if the electrons are pulled away from the outermost orbit, then the atom will lose an electron. So when the neutral atom loses an electron, the total number of electrons orbiting the nucleus of the atom is less than the total number of protons in the nucleus of the atom. See in this figure, the total number of electrons orbiting the nucleus of the atom is 6, whereas the total number of protons in the nucleus that is 7. So positively charged particles, that is protons, are more than the negatively charged particle, that is electron. Therefore the total electrical charge of the atom is positive. Similarly, we will see what is negative ion. If an electrically neutral atom gains one or more electrons, then the total number of electrons orbiting the nucleus of the atom is greater than the number of protons in the nucleus of that atom. So see in this figure, so total number of electrons orbiting the nucleus of the atom are 8, whereas the total number of protons in the nucleus are 7. So positively charged particles, that is protons, are less than the negatively charged particles. Therefore, the total electrical charge of this atom is negative. Now let us discuss what is the concept of energy level. Each electron orbit has an energy level associated with it. The electrons in the inner orbit are more closely bounded to the nucleus and possess a less energy. But as we move towards the valence shell, the binding force between the nucleus and electron reduces and the electron possesses a higher energy. So energy of the shell 1 is the lowest and that of the valence shell is highest. The concept of energy level it is shown here. The valence electrons are loosely bound with the nucleus. If an external energy is given to them, they can easily break away from the nucleus and become free. Such electrons which are free from the force of attraction of nucleus are called as free electrons. These free electrons possess an energy which is higher than that of the valence electrons. The electric current flows due to these free electrons and they are said to be in the conduction band. The energy level of the conduction band is higher than that of the valence shell. Now we understood that along with every electron shell there is an associated energy level. So let us discuss the energy bands in detail. The electron in the first shell will require the highest amount of energy for their excitation. Therefore, the first cell is said to have lowest amount of energy associated with it. On the other hand, the valence electron requires the lowest amount of energy for their excitation. Hence, the valence cell are said to have the highest amount of energy. So, this is about the single atom, but in practice, the atoms are not isolated from each other. When they are brought together, the electrons will be acted upon by the force from other atoms. So under such circumstances, the energy level occupied by the electrons will get merged into the energy bands. So in this figure, the first band, it is formed by the cluster of the energy levels of the electrons in the first cell of the millions of the atoms. Similarly, the other band is get constructed. The energy band diagram as it is shown here is simply a graphical representation of the energy level associated with the electrons in the different cells. So let us see what is valence band. The valence band corresponds to the valence electrons present in the different atoms of the material. Energy associated with the valence band is the second highest energy. Now see the conduction band. The conduction band has the highest energy associated with it. So electrons in the conduction band are the free electron, that is the electron which are disconnected from their respective atom. The conduction band electrons are actually responsible for the flow of the current. More the number of the electrons in the conduction band, more will be the current flow. So see the forbidden gap now, or the band gap. So in this figure, the forbidden gap or the band gap is the energy gap that separates the conduction band and valence band. No electrons can normally exit in the forbidden gap. For any given type of material, the forbidden gap or the band gap may be large, small, or even non-existent. The materials are classified as a conductor, insulator, semiconductor based on the relative width of the forbidden gap. If the valence band electrons can jump across the forbidden gap and enter into the conduction band, then they will become a free electrons and be available for the conduction. So the valence electrons can jump if we provide additional energy to them. This additional energy can be supplied by increasing the temperature or focusing a light on the material. So this is the reason why the conductivity of the certain material increases with the increase in the temperature. So in this video, we covered the structure of the atom, structure of silicon germanium atom, concept of energy level and energy bands. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the semiconductor in detail.